October 2023 update. We are starting an archival section on our Patreon. This section is going to be dedicated to archiving all the hard copy photographs, videotapes, and related items that have been amassed over the early years as writers, photographers, regular civilians, and fans documented what was going on in New York and other major cities. Starting the archive will be the book Ceasefire, a collection of over 100 pages of photographs documenting New York's trucks during the 1990s. All photos were shot by Tommy Rebel. All these trucks are no longer running. The book is digitally available on our Living Proof magazine tier on our Patreon as the first release for the archive. We are also dropping a Patreon interview with TD. TD is a writer well known throughout the 5 boroughs for having gone all city numerous times. Hailing from the Bronx, TD speaks on his time spent incarcerated for stealing cars, being shot with a shotgun, going all city, traveling the world to paint, etc. The full TD episode, as well as the Ceasefire book, is available on our Patreon now. Patreon members on our Living Proof magazine tier are sent out current issues of Living Proof magazine and are included in the subscription list on all upcoming issues. The magazine is dropped periodically throughout the year. Members also gain access to our episode library, video project library, and growing archival section with projects from Savvy, Ichabod, Deceive, Rehab Iraq, etc. Enjoy the episode. Peace.
Angel and Z Radio is a show brought to you by the wonderful people at Art Primo. A graffiti shop like no other that has been proudly serving the community for decades from New York to Seattle and beyond. They have everything you need, and you probably need everything they have. Mops, paint, inks, sketchbooks, stickers, bags, and much, much more. Believe me, you will not want to miss this.
So how long were you in New York for?
I think 9. I think 9 years.
Oh shit, so you're there for a while.
Yeah.
So you grew up here, moved there, and then you were there for 9 years and moved back just 2 years ago.
Yeah.
How's it been since you moved back?
It's cool. It's like mega different, but I miss New York,
Yeah.
but I think I'm better off here. I think it feels better for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In what way?
Slower. A little slower, more isolating. It's like not too much shit going on. I kind of hate it here too though. It's kind of too many people here.
Too many people, just like people you know type shit?
No, just like too many people.
Yeah.
Like just traffic everywhere. Everything's jammed. But it's cool.
Yeah, no, the traffic here is nuts. I went to go somewhere like that was straight up 30 minutes away from where we are right now, and it ended up being like a 3-hour ordeal.
Yeah.
And I was at the spot for like all of 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Which, like, I guess it happens in New York, but I guess it depends on where you live, and it's kind of like different, you know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, here it could take forever to go 10 miles, 2 miles. And when you're just like in the car like that by yourself, you like kind of start going crazy sometimes.
Yeah, and you have to have a car here.
Yeah, I didn't have a car when I first got here.
When you got back.
Yeah, like I never got my license when I was a kid. And then that's part of like why I was in New York for so long. I was like, well, I don't have to know how to drive. Like this is way chill. And I moved back. I was scared to drive. It's like so scary. I still suck at it. But I just like would try to ride my bike around, like ride my bike to the grocery store, and like it just like sucked. But now I have the car and like it's easier, but
Yeah. No, I don't see how you could be like commuting strictly through bike in LA. Seems pretty not possible. I don't know the areas that well, so
I mean, it was like it's rugged and I have like a track bike with like no gears, no brakes, and there's so many hills that it was just like it sucked. I tried to run it though, but it was like either that or like take an Uber to someone's house.
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
feel like you're jamming everyone else up though.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm down to go, but like, could you pick me up? No one wants to do that.
So why'd you initially leave LA?
Why'd I leave LA?
Yeah, when you left, like, I guess 11 years ago or so.
I was just like young and less like sick of where I was, I guess, and I was friends with Ben Cato, and he was like, you should move to New York. You'll like it. It's like good here. Like people are skating. So I was just like, okay, fuck it. And I moved like probably like a few months after he said that. I didn't know anything about New York.
Had you been there before?
Yeah, I visited him once for 2 weeks. Never left the East Village. It's like when I moved there, I had no idea. Like I didn't know shit. But I got there and I like loved it immediately. But it was kind of just like a young, dumb, naive, just like dive into the world.
Yeah. How old are you?
18.
Okay. Damn. So you moved there and you just what did you have no ties in LA in terms of like, I guess you're 18, but like job, career, like plans, school, whatever.
I had a job at like a skate and surf shop, and that was like my only tie, and I just like quit. It was chill.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, no ties. I told my mom and she was like, okay. I guess like I probably was always talking about how I was gonna move somewhere, but yeah, it was really easy to move. It was pretty easy to move back too if you just like do it.
Yeah. Like if you just don't give a shit about the things that you own, if you own a lot of shit, and if you don't, then it's even easier.
Yeah.
You can just bounce on pretty much any job ever,
Yeah.
and then you move.
You could just be out. I mean, like when I moved there, I moved there with one suitcase, and fucking when I moved back, I had like a U-Haul truck full of shit, and I was like, oh my God, like how'd I get so much stuff?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty easy just to just drop it and go, I guess.
So when you moved there, what was your initial living situation?
I moved into Ben lived in like the basement of this spot in Ridgewood, but he didn't have like the whole basement. It was like a curtained off section. It was like a triangle, and we shared the triangle. And so it was like a twin bed. We shared a nightstand, and then his twin bed. And it was gnarly.
How big was it? Like if you compare it to here.
It's like this.
Damn.
It was small, and there was like one window, but it was the basement, so like the window like just looked at the other building. I didn't see the sun for days, and it was February 4th when I got there, and it was just like cold as fuck, and there was no sun. I had like a kind of a moment where I was like, whoa, like what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like this is so not like home. But it was fine. When you're a kid, you're like down for stuff.
Yeah,
like
you're
that.
down for whatever. So you get there, you're living in this triangle. What'd you start doing? Were you just skating? Did you have a job? What were you like? I'm assuming you couldn't have saved up that much bread to go there if it was like on a whim. It's like you're living in this like cut spot.
I didn't really have much money. We were doing like set design and like skating, and I tried to go to college. I tried to go to Borough of Manhattan Community College for like, I think I went for 2 years, but like I didn't like it, and I bailed that and started doing the set design like full time, or trying to do it full time, and then after that I ended up working at Supreme.
How'd you get involved with the set design? It's kind of like a random job, right?
There's this dude Matt Jackson, and he would just hire all the skaters. So it was really easy.
Did it pay good?
It paid enough, yeah. It was my first introduction to like waiting 30 days for like an invoice to be filled though. So like you'd be like, oh, I made this much money, but I gotta wait for it to come in. So like you kind of felt like you had no money, and then like, you'd spend all the money right away because you're like a little kid and you're an idiot. It's pretty cool though.
How long did you work at the set design place?
I guess a few years, but it was like so like on and off. Like you get a job for like a week and make like a good amount of money, and our rent was like so low. Cause like we lived like 8 fools in one spot, our rent was like $400 each probably.
This was the Ridgewood spot?
No, this is like the next spot
Okay.
that was like also a basement. It was just like trying to do set design, but like wasn't really set design. Like we would do pickups and drop offs. So just like a mover. You just like move furniture in the truck, move it out, wait, just do that all day or like all week. Or you know, do like PA jobs, photo assist, but like not knowing how to do any of that. So you're just like an errand boy,
Yeah, yeah.
which was tight. And like everyone you're friends with is doing it too, so it was pretty easy.
Yeah, you liked it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So from there, you are living. Why did you move out of the triangle spot into the new spot where there's 8 fools living at it?
Oh, we were like, oh, we have to get a place. So we found it was a two bedroom off Halsey. Yeah, Halsey and Broadway. And it was pretty cheap. And like Ben had a girlfriend, I had a girlfriend. So like they moved in, so that like cut the rent in half. And then our boy Cruz moved in, and then Jesse, Alba, and Nolan Benfield moved in. What is that? How many people is that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-ish. I don't know.
7?
7-ish.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
it's not 8. But so they had bunk beds in the kitchen, couch, and then me and Ben had the rooms.
So it was like a straight up like it was like a skate house.
It was a skate house,
Yeah.
with like 2 girls in it that like had to just deal with it. And we had a dog, and we had a cat.
How did you guys get that approved from whoever you're renting it from? Because they do that shit where it's like, oh, you got to make 80 times the rent. I need a guarantor. I need.
We had a guarantor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did they know there was 8 heads in it?
No.
Okay.
It was like 2 of us were gonna move in. I think maybe Ben's mom was our like signed co-signer or something. And then everyone else, it was just like a free for all though. We're like, dude, like you should move to New York too. Like move into the kitchen.
Cheapen our rent.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think
Yeah.
like the bunk beds, they were like $100 a month or something.
Chilling.
Yeah. It was cool. Like
Yeah.
no rules. Like first time with no parents, you know? Go crazy.
How long did you live in the triangle spot for?
The triangle spot was only for like a few months.
Okay, so it was like you were still pretty much you had just moved to New York when you got that 8-person spot.
Yeah. Yeah. And we lived there for like a year, and then it flooded. It flooded, and everyone kind of had somewhere to go, like a plan B, you know? And I didn't have a plan B. It was like it kind of sucked. I stayed in it like by myself for like a month. But it had flooded. So like only one room was like livable. It was pretty like gnarly. And then I kind of just like couch surfed for a little bit. What else did I do? I came back here for like 3 months. I had like nowhere to go. I came back here. I stayed on Mike Gelati's couch. And then I went back to New York. Oh, I got one of those you live in Chinatown with like a Chinatown family.
Yeah.
You know about that shit?
and then you
Like,
get the room.
that shit. I did that for a while. That was fucked up, dude. I like lived there for like 2 months maybe, and like it was cool. Like the girl I lived with was cool, and then like I guess probably like it was her grandpa. He was always like cooking fish, smoking ciggies, and it was chill. But I would go up on the roof every day and just like drink a beer. And I went up there one day, and there was like these dudes up there. And they had all this shit with them. And I was just kind of like, oh, like what's up? And like walked to the other side of the roof. And they like came over and like cornered me on the edge of the roof. And then they were like, yo, we know like you live in like 7, right? Like you have this shit in your room. and this shit, and they're like talking about stuff in my room, and I was like, whoa, dude.
Like they'd been in your room.
Yeah. And I was like, whoa, that's fucking so weird. But I like didn't know what to do because I was like on the edge of the roof, and they were like cornering me. And the big homie had like a meat cleaver in his hand, and I was like, dude, these guys are crazy. And I was talking to them, like trying to keep it super normal, and it's like I told them my name, and they're like, oh yeah, we see you. You're pretty chill. You're respectful, but like don't be disrespectful. You know, it'd be a shame if like Stu like drank a beer and fell off the roof. And I was like, whoa, what? Like these dudes are like gonna push me off the roof, you know?
Were they like they were friends with the Chinese family?
Yeah, they were like saying some like Chinatown mafia shit that like was kind of going over my head, honestly. Um, but then they like opened up this bag and they're like, so this is your stuff, right? And they opened this bag and there was like shit out of my room. And they're like, here, you can have it. I was like, okay, like thanks, man. Like, word. And then I finished the beer and I had my stuff and I was like, all right, dude, like I would love to stay, but like I have to go. And I like started walking towards like the stairs, and they started running after me. And I like jumped down all the stairs. It was like a fucking Liam Neeson movie. I was like jumping down all the stairs, like ran out, like ran to Essex and just like skated to TF. And like I didn't go back for 2 weeks, I think.
So where did you stay?
My girlfriend's place, which like I wasn't supposed to go there because like the girls like finally got out of the skate house, so they didn't want like all the boys in there. But I stayed there for a little bit. Then I went back to get my shit, and under my bed there was this bag of all the other people's passports, cameras, like shit that they stole from other houses, under my bed in there. It was really weird. But so I just like blocked that lady's number, and just like
So you were just paying her monthly?
yeah,
What was it?
$500.
Okay, and you just had a small room, I assume.
Yeah, the room was like, dude, it was like it was like as big as this table.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Tiny room.
What streets was it on?
Essex and Hester,
Okay.
above the dumpling spot.
Okay. Shit, that's wild. That's wild. So, were you were working at Supreme at the time?
No, this was like probably like a year or two before that. I can't remember. Probably like a year before that. I think we opened that store in like 2017, I want to say. I don't know. It's kind of all like a mess to me at this point. I think I lived there, and then when that happened, I think that's when I came back here for like a few months. And then when I came back to New York, I moved to Bed-Stuy, to another skate house with Andrew Wilson, John Choi, Connor Prunty, Genesis lived there. And that place was cool. I lived there for like 3 or 4 years, and we had a stoop, and we would hang on the stoop every day. I lived there when I worked at Supreme.
How'd you get that job?
I saw Bill one day, and Bill was like, "Yo, I got a job for you. I can't tell you what it is." And then like 6 months later, Todd Jordan called me and was like, "Do you want to interview for this job?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then like 6 months later, I like went in for an interview. And then like 6 months later, they were like, "All right, you're hired." It was a long process. It was really confusing. I was like, you're like, the whole time, like, do I quit the set job? Like, what do I do? And they're like, oh, just hang tight, dude. We'll figure it out. But that's how I got that job. I got interviewed by Jeff Pang. It's like my first real job interview. That like was crazy. It's like walking in there and like Pang Star is sitting there and he's like, "How are you? Like, how's your parents?" And you're like, "What? Like, I don't even know you. How do you like what?" That was a trip.
What was the interview like? Was it like like a formal interview? Or was it just like some?
Dude, I thought it was gonna be a formal interview, but it was weird. It was just um like, did you go to high school? Like, yeah, school sucks. Like, I didn't finish either. And you're like, okay. And then he was like, so you've been skating? They just like, it was not a job interview. It was super chill. They didn't ask me anything like a real job interview would give, which I guess I've never had a real job interview. So I'm not really, I don't know what to compare it to.
So while you were in New York, you were doing set design, and then you were working at Supreme, and then you eventually moved back. That was pretty much it.
That was it.
Okay. So how was working there? You know, you hear the stories. It's kind of hectic. Million people coming in 24/7. What were you doing there? You were kind of like front line at you know.
Mm, it's pretty crazy, but it's also super chill. It's easy. I worked the front for the first few months, and then some shit went down outside, and then I was like, "Can I work in the back? Can I do backstock?" So then I worked backstock for like 5 years. I love backstock. Um, so that was like nice. I like liked working in the back. I worked with Johnny Egan, like he was my boss, and we would just like put shit away, count stuff. It was like very easy to feel like you're like accomplishing things, like if tiny little accomplishments, but it like was fairly rewarding, you know. But that was a good job. Um, you could kind of like do whatever you want, like as long as you're there and like you help customers, like as long as you do like the bare minimum, you can be however you want. Like you could show up to work mad as fuck and be in a bad mood all day and not talk to anyone, and it's like fine. Or you could have like a laughing fit and it's like all good. Like nothing is gonna be disruptive.
Yeah. What was your hours like?
Mm, what was it? I think we got there at 10:30, left at 7:30. If I used to get there pretty early, like 9:45 sometimes, just because uh, it was just kind of nice to have like a slow start. Uh, yeah, it was chill.
So this whole time that this is happening, you're actively skating, or did you stop skating while you were doing that? Because if you're there, I guess I don't know, Monday through Friday, 10 to 7.
I was yeah, I was skating, but not like, I guess not actively skating. It was like if it was my day off, I'd be out with everyone, but not like not like with a plan, you know. Not like with ideas or anything. I was just like day off, like you want to hang out with your friends, maybe you get a trick. But at that point in time, I was like, I'm not a skater, you know, or I'm not like uh I don't have to like film shit. So I would just film stuff like if it naturally happened, and just try to like enjoy the day off really.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that whole time was like, you know, just hanging around.
How long did you work there for?
5 years, I think.
How are like the drop dates and shit when there's the Brooklyn? I'm assuming the Brooklyn shop gets as many lines as the Manhattan shop.
Uh, I think it's like a little slower. Um, but it's like kind of organized enough where like there's like, I don't know how to explain it. Well, it's like everyone who's like has a reservation is like here, and then they have like time slots. So then like this group of people like move up here. So you're kind of like, you can see the line outside, and you can kind of tell like who's coming through. But like the drop days, we kind of just ran it like a conveyor belt where it's like some people come in, and you're like, give me the list of all the shit you want, and then what I would do is I would fill the list, just like fill a bin with everything that they want, or like try to get everything they want. Bring it to the register, and then that dude would get called up, ring him up. Like, you could, when you do it like that, you could crush, like, 800 people in a day, which is like, you feel pretty fried after,
Yeah, no, I
you
can
know?
imagine.
But, like,
Especially if you're at the front, you're just
Yeah.
talking to mad people. Because when you talk to people, you're literally expending energy.
like, I couldn't do that. Like,
Yeah.
the dudes who would work the register, like, that's pretty gnarly. Like, we had our own, like, it was fried, like, getting together all this stuff, but, like, I think so much easier than saying, like, hey, what's up, how you doing, is this it, this is all, and then, everyone's always like, well, what about this, and then they have to tell, oh, it's sold out. Like, yeah, the front is gnarly.
Yeah, I mean, you can only do that "what's up, how you doing" shit so many times
Yeah.
until you're over it. And, like 800 people. You could do that for like 50 people straight, and
See,
then you're over it.
I couldn't do that. I feel like I've like I've done the register, like, if someone was at lunch, and, like, I wouldn't say anything. I would say nothing. Just, like, be like, is this yours? And they'd be like, yeah, and I'd be like, okay, and I would just ring it up, and, like, if you want something else, I was like, too bad.
How'd you meet the Johnny Wilson crew and started filming with them?
I don't know. I kind of felt like you were gonna ask me this, and I was trying to think of an answer, but I feel like I was just skating with them one day. I feel like maybe it was Jesse and Cruz were skating with them, but I don't know how they became friends. But it was just like skating with your friends, and you just, next thing you know, those are your friends. I feel like if I really think about it, I can remember maybe the first trick me and Johnny filmed, like some shrinky gap in Chinatown. We skated that, and that was like a long fucking time ago because I was wearing Lakai's.
Were you getting shoes from them?
I got like one box, but I didn't like them. I must have been like 18 then when I met him.
So it was right when you moved there.
Yeah, I met like a ton of people like right away. Because I first was skating with Nick V, who does like those Lurk NYC videos. And I met like so many people skating with him and like going to parties after. New York's crazy like that. You can meet so many people in like a week. Like I feel like I just got lucky or something.
Yeah, I mean it's like everybody's in like New York has a 5 borough spot, or like if you're all of New York State's huge, but everybody's actually in just like this like couple block radius, not couple block, but like this
Yeah.
pretty small space in these like 4 or 5 locations. So you're just bound to meet heads. It's just like human beings interacting. Before you know it, you're like,
Yeah.
mad people who also know mad people, and like everybody knows each other. It's not like that out here.
Oh, I guess not. I mean, there, like you said, it's like it's much more condensed, and like everyone kind of does the same shit. Like, if you went to like any party like near Tompkins, you probably see every kid that you saw at Tompkins there. Um, and like if you went to, we would go to like a Pratt party, and it was like every skater who lived in Brooklyn was gonna be there. Um, and here it's like, yeah, it's like spread out. I don't even really like, I don't know like what it would be like to try to do that here, because like I moved back and I already like knew
You
who I
already
was
knew
gonna
it,
skate.
yeah.
Yeah.
Why'd you move back?
Uh, well, I'm trying to think of, there's so many like weird little reasons. I kind of like was burnt on New York. Like it just felt too crazy. I was like scared all the time, and I stopped doing anything. Like I would just hide in my house, and then I got sober, and I was like, well, what am I doing here? Like if I'm just hiding in the house, like I could hide somewhere else. And then another reason, my girlfriend moved here, so I spent like a year like debating it kind of. But it was kind of like, I think the major thing was like getting sober and then just being like, okay, like what's next? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, should we try something else out? Um, but like by the time I had like decided I wanted to leave, it was like I was already mentally I was already gone. I was like, I have to get the fuck out of here. Like, I hate it here. It's too crazy.
How was the path like to going sober? It was like from alcohol, right?
Yeah.
Um, when you moved to New York, were you already drinking? I don't really know to what extent that even means. You know what I mean? But I assume that if you're saying you go sober, it was like relatively a problem. So yeah, like what was the path to going sober? Like, did you do any programs or did you just do it on your own shit?
I went to like a couple meetings. Like, I tried the meetings out, but I just like I don't like doing shit. And going to like an AA meeting is like really going to some shit. Um, so I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I just kind of like locked myself in the house for like a week and was just like slamming seltzer waters. And I just every day was just like, okay, it's like one more day, like just seeing how far I could go. Cause I didn't like really plan on getting sober, but I was like, I need to get like get a fucking grip kind of, um, cause I mean I had been drinking since I was like 16 or something, and it was like very like all or nothing. Like, I like to be drunk, and I like to be drunk at home. I wasn't like partying and shit necessarily, but like I liked being like wasted at home and like just being like kind of miserable about it. Um, but it kind of like was getting worse to the point where I was just like, oh, this is like fucked up. Like, I feel like I'm just gonna like die. And then I would like keep drinking and be like, oh, this is gonna kill me. And then I'd be like, well, fuck it. Like, let's just do it. Like, I'll just keep drinking until it kills me. And then I woke up one morning and I felt like I had like a hunch that like I did something or like wanted to do something like bad to myself, but I couldn't remember it, and that kind of like freaked me out. Where I was like, well, I have no idea what's going on. Um, but I knew I was really unhappy, so I was like, I have to just like try to figure it out. And every day that went by, I got like more confident that I could do it, and that's when I started skating more too, because I like didn't know what to do with my time. So I was just like going to the skate park in the morning and just uh, and that was fun. So it all kind of happened all at once, which is
That's
cool.
the thing. Like I feel like that's very. It's just like a very common thing within skating, because it's like skating is so intertwined with chilling. You know, chilling and being young, and like primarily like chilling and like all day long. You know, like it's not like you chill for like 5 hours with your friends. It's like you chill all day long, and then like you chill at night, and then like you chill in the morning all day long, and you kind of start it when you're like 14 years old or like however maybe younger, but like the hardcore chilling maybe like around like you started like 13, 14, which is you look back on it's like dude that is crazy young, like you don't know anything. Um, you're chilling that hard, everyone's gonna do whatever, and it's like I grew up like not drinking because I was super into like hardcore punk rock, and I got really into like straight edge at that time period. Like I don't claim edge anymore. Or, like I don't really smoke like that or anything. But
Well,
I,
that's cool as fuck though.
yeah, I was really into it. So all of my friends would skate. Um, all of my like before hardcore, it was like skating. So all of my friends were from skateboarding, but all of them would like drink beer, or, like smoke weed, like nothing crazy, but like just drinking beer and smoking weed, which kind of is crazy when you're fucking like 14 years old or some shit, you know? Um, and they would all kind of like cut my ass for not doing any of that, but like not that bad because like I was actually their homie, so it's like whatever. Um, but point of the story is over time, mad of my really close friends became actual alcoholics. Like, and it kind of went like on some like just happened shit.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like one day like homie's fine and it's like just at night. The next day it's like, oh, this dude drank like 230 racks and a 40 like within like a 6 hour span.
Yeah,
And
dude.
like, yo, what? Like you didn't do that before, but oh damn, I haven't seen him in a while. I assume everything's good. Oh shit, nah, you're doing that every day. And it's like, it's kind of wild.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, you're just like kicking it all the time, drinking all the time, and it's so normalized, you know? So like if you and all your boys are like drinking every day and like you're pretty good at drinking too, like no one's like acting a fool. You're just like drinking beers like it's water. It's like so easy to just you just do it every day. You're not getting buzzed. So you're like drinking more and more and more. Yeah, it's like it's way too easy just to be like you look at any of your friends and everyone's like seemingly fine. Um, so you're like, well, I'm fine too. Like it's all good. And like you see someone like acting out somewhere and you're like, well, that's not us. Like that person has a problem, but like I don't have a problem because like I keep it to myself.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, it's nuts. Like now when I look back on it, or like I look at some friends, I'm like almost like, damn, like I can't believe like we would just sit there and just like drink beers all day. Like that's so boring. It's like so boring.
How do you feel now?
Uh, I don't know. I like sometimes I'm like, oh, I miss that. Like I miss like the misery of it. Like walking up the stairs and like leaning on the wall. I like miss that. But like if I see someone drinking a beer, I'm not like, oh fuck.
So you don't do nothing. Like you don't even sip.
No. I'll drink like non-alcoholic beer though.
Yeah.
Like and I'm down to kick it. Like I'll drink like a 12 pack of NAs to like kick it. Like that's fun. Um but it is just like it's scary how easy it is for like that to just be like a straight up problem.
Yeah.
Um but it's also and it's so easy for it to like not seem like a problem.
I feel like especially within skating, dude.
Oh yeah, because you don't have
Like
to
that's
do
the,
anything.
yeah, that's the one where I feel like it's like especially doesn't seem like a problem within skating.
Because like I feel like for skaters, it's very rare that you'd have to be somewhere and like
And like you get nice at skating anyways.
yeah, like
So
people
it's like
skate good
yeah.
wasted somehow.
Yeah, so it's like like if anything that like proves that it's not a problem. Like
Right.
in that reality, I'm
Right,
saying.
like it's so much easier for it to like kind of just go under the radar. Yeah, because if you're not like like if your life doesn't like feel fucked up, then you're like this isn't a problem.
Yeah, I remember I showed up to like my local forever ago, and one of my best friends was there, but like he was kind of chilling with the older dudes, like the older iller dudes, because he'd be drinking and shit.
Yeah.
And I showed up, and like he was like kind of killing it on his board, and they were all like drinking, and like I didn't know any of the older dudes like that, and I remember thinking like, damn, like I might truly be a kook. That's crazy. But then like like it's just like some little kid shit like thinking that um and that's what mad people think, that's why fucking it's like mad common in skating, and it's just like not even just skating, but it's just like being young and chilling. It's gonna like you're gonna experiment.
Yeah, you have to fit in.
You have to fit in.
Yeah.
That's like a 100% a thing.
Like,
Yeah, but that's sick that you that you're chilling now and you're not doing any of that. Do you feel like it was hard for you to go sober? It kind of sounds like you just locked yourself in a room and in a week you were valid.
uh, it was hard. It was hard, but it was easier than I thought. I thought that I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I thought I could never do it. Like I had thought about it so many times, or like people had told me like, "Oh, you should get sober," and I was like, "No, I don't." And then I started being like, "I can't do it." So it was kind of like exciting. I got like a high out of like staying sober, kind of, because I felt like I was accomplishing something that I felt like I couldn't do. Like it felt impossible, but it wasn't as hard as I thought once I wanted it. And the longer it went, the easier it got. Just on the sense of like, um, I was more excited. Um, and now I guess I don't really, like, I stopped counting, you know? And I feel like when you stop counting, that's like when you kind of know, like, okay, like this is not like an everyday struggle. Because like in the beginning, you're like, oh my God, like one more hour till it's another day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it was a little easier than I thought, I guess. It
How
feels good.
how much of that do you think was just being in New York?
The drinking,
Yeah, because it seems like you kind of came out here when that was all said and done. So was New York a huge part of that, or?
I wouldn't say it was a huge part of it, but because I started drinking here, um, like when I got to New York, I was already like, I guess like a young full blown alkie. It got worse in New York, and I think it's probably easier for it to. It was easier for me to like keep going with it in New York, just like I worked at Supreme, like everyone's hungover, like no one is like, oh, like this dude's like hung at work, like this is a problem. Like you could just fit in by being like a wastoid. Um, so like I guess like maybe it like went on longer in New York, but it's hard to say. It's definitely easy to drink there though.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to leave because I was like, well, there's nothing for me to do here but drink. Like you live above the beer store, the bar's across the street. You could walk across town with a tall can and no one's gonna say anything. Like it's like,
Your friends are walking around everywhere. Like if you walk down the street, you might run into someone.
yeah,
Like you probably will run
like
into
it's
someone.
too easy. Like you
Yeah.
could walk with beers with your friend. It's like it's like Disneyland for like bad kids or something.
Where you at? Where you at now with skating?
Oh shit.
No, all good.
Um, I'm trying to film a part. I'm trying to finish a part. Um, for a new Baker video. Uh, that I think is supposed to be done soon. Um, I kind of just like skate like once a week though. It's kind of hard. This has been like I feel like I'm trying the hardest that personally than I have before, but I have like the least amount of free time that this has been the most like deliberate like attempt at like making something
Yeah.
where like I'm keeping track of what I have and sorting through it constantly, um, and like trying to find spots, um, like skating before work or after work to try to like make sure that I feel confident enough to like try said trick. It's it's pretty stressful right now. Honestly.
What's the deal with Baker?
um I started getting Baker boards like a year ago. I just like hit up Andrew Reynolds and was like, what's up, like, can I ride Baker boards? And he was like, yeah, sure. Which sounds crazy when I say that out loud. It is crazy. um but they're like working on like a Baker as a Death Wish too, and I think I'm supposed to be in that, allegedly. So I'm trying to
Trying to go in on it.
I'm trying to yeah, I'm trying to get by,
Yeah.
There's like some real heavy hitters in there.
Yeah, no doubt. Who you filming with?
I film with my friend Fletch. He films like Aiden and Rowan a lot. But that's who I mostly skate with, yeah.
All the footage is out here.
Yeah, I went to New York for like 10 days and like got one thing. But like everything else is here.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you still feel that the same motivation to skate as before? Now that you can only do it Once a week.
Uh, yeah, I have more motivation now than like probably the whole time I lived in New York. I didn't really skate that much in New York. I think that's kind of why I'm shocked that I'm here. Cause like, uh, I had like no motivation, or like I had like I didn't have I wasn't very inspired in New York for a long time, and not like that's New York's fault, but just for a long time I didn't feel like inspired to do things. Like I wasn't thinking what I should try to do. Like I wasn't thinking about spots or tricks. I was just kind of like jellyfishing around. Um, but now I have like I guess a lot more motivation. I appreciate it more. I think like when I stopped drinking, I like got obsessed with skating and started filming stuff with Johnny again, and that felt good. Where I was like, oh shit, like getting a clip feels really sick, and now I'm uh, like sick in the head about getting clips. That's like all I can think about. It's kind of gross, but it's like that's the that's the best thing.
Yeah. What's the worst injury you've had skating? You know, we were watching your shit last night, and like the whole intro to one of these parts was just like ass whoopings, of you just like flying, trying to gap some like street gap right onto like a 50-50 on the curb or some shit like that, and like it's the type of tricks, like I feel like a lot of the skating you do, it's like a type of trick that like you will eat shit trying it. You know what I mean? Like you go Mach 10 at a street gap and you're just going to land in 50-50 for like 1 second on the curb. Like you have to commit to do this and you're going to eat shit doing it. And then eventually you'll ride away. So um, I was reading too that like your brain felt shook up from that roll in. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Dude, that is like really crazy that bank spot, because that's like not a bank. It's like actually just a wall that happens to be tilted. Um So yeah, what's the deal with that?
uh, well, yeah, I don't know. That wall is I don't know. I think like with the wall and like the gapping to the curb or whatever, um, like I didn't really get hurt doing either of those, you know, because it's such a simple. They're both so simple. Like it's not like a multi-faceted trick where you're kind of like you know what's gonna happen when you fuck up. Like you just know like oh like I'm either like on the roll in you just know you're gonna hit the ground, so you're like are prepared for it. And with the street gap grinds, you kind of just know like I'm just gonna fall like as if I tried to skate flat ground going really fast. Like I don't really get hurt doing those, but like my brain felt would feel shook. Like like I would try the roll in like 5 times every time we went, and like yeah, I was like dizzy for sure. After like the fifth one, I'd be like, all right, like I feel like I got hit in the head, but nothing too crazy. I think like the worst injuries have just been like rolling my ankles trying to skate ledges. Just like I don't really like you're not probably not gonna see me do like a ledge trick because I'm terrified of it because I feel like that's how I'm gonna get hurt. Like I'm just gonna like sit on my ankle.
Yeah.
Um. Oh, you know what? I don't know how I forgot about this. I tore my ACL, but like minorly, thankfully. But like I guess that was probably the worst because I was like scary too, where I was like, oh, I'm gonna like I don't know what life is gonna be like. Like I don't know if I'll be able to skate the same way. But I think because it was minor, like a minor tear, like I didn't have to get surgery. Um, it kind of worked out. But I guess that's probably the worst one.
You toured skating.
Yeah, I tried to like ollie this like stairs over a sidewalk into like a bank. Um, and I just like fucked up the ollie and like kicked out and landed on the bank, but like because my body was like coming from all high, the momentum just like twisted my front knee and it just like swelled up immediately.
Did you hear a pop or anything?
I felt like it popped, but like I wasn't sure if I was like making that up in my head, you know?
Yeah.
But it just like swelled up immediately, and then like of course you're like, dude, I think it popped, and then like your homie's like, no, like it didn't, like you're all good, like, you know, you're all trying to work together to like be calm. It was fine, you know, 6 months, no PT.
Cool. On that note, dude, thank you for doing this for real. I appreciate it immensely. If you want to give any shouts or anything like that, but if not, thanks for doing this and thanks for coming here.
Well, thanks for having me. No shout outs.
Peace.